This is Mr. Payton. This is our next episode on greatness. Man, again, this was inspired by some of the stuff I've seen with the Olympics. And of course, they had to make some list of who's the greatest of this, that, and the other. I don't waste any time on that kind of stuff. I got to say, though, watching someone like Katie Ledecky, Simone Biles, Noah Lyles, watching our basketball teams, the ladies. I mean, they got 50 something wins in a row or something like that. And unfortunately, if you go on social media, you will see people picking holes in the greatness of those people. And I'd be willing to bet that everybody that is picking holes is probably not great at anything. Great people don't have time to sit around picking holes in others. So if you find yourself picking apart someone else's greatness, you might want to refocus your efforts, because it probably means you're not as great as you need to be in the area you are. And that, that's not a shot at anyone in particular. But in my own experience, in my pursuit of greatness, because I don't know if anybody calls me great. I think I've been successful. I don't know if I've been great. That's up for someone else. I spend time trying to figure out if I was great. I spend time trying to get good at things and pursuing things. The labels, the measurements, that's for someone else. But I don't have time to sit around and worry about any of my contemporaries or somebody who I compete against or someone who does what I do. I don't have time to sit around wondering if they're good or not, because I'm too busy pursuing what I'm doing. So it's interesting to me. One that stood out, I think there was a former teammate of one of the athletes said that her team wasn't as good as the other teams. You've heard it with basketball, comparing teams from years back to teams this year. And it's just like, I said this in one of my other episodes. Be careful with the word comparison, man. It is a dangerous, dangerous thing. It can steal your joy. It can take away from what you're doing. I know for some people it's just a lighthearted, fun debate. Who's the greatest, Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Who's better, Tom Brady or Joe Montana? Who's better, Cheryl Swoops, Maya Moore? It goes on and on. But the idea that we need to compare someone great to someone else great, it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? They're both great, so who cares? It's going to be hard to convince somebody who grew up in the 90s like I did that anyone's better than Jordan. It's going to be hard to convince anyone who grew up in the 2010s or whatever that anyone's better than Kobe. Because when those people were at the height of their greatness, the people who were watching, the young people who were watching, the adults who were watching were like, in that moment, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. How can you say someone's better than a dude who scored 81 points? How can you say that? Much less, how can you go back and say that the dude who scored 100 points, anyone's greater than that? So I just think it's a lot of wasted energy. But more importantly, for those of us who are trying to be excellent at what we do and who are striving for greatness, be mindful of comparing yourself to others. I mean, we all do it from time to time. We all slip into, not necessarily keeping up with the Joneses, but we all slip into, man, what's going on over there? What is my colleague doing over there? Did they get recognized for something and I didn't? But I would just continue to say that those of us who are pursuing greatness, if we're really on top of our game and really doing the best we possibly can, we don't have time for that. And so I would simply say, again, be mindful of comparisons. And let's just spend more time celebrating the greatness that is around us. Because the one thing I've gotten old enough to see happen is that, and I see it the most in music, there are some musicians, some artists, some groups that are no longer around that I'm just like, man, they're not going to get replaced. For those of us who are in my age range, there's never going to be another Luther Vandross. There's never going to be another Elvis Presley. There's never going to be another James Brown. But we're going to sit around and say, such and such group was not as good as this group. The Beatles was the greatest. And this comparison thing really concerns me because I feel like we lose focus and we don't take the time to appreciate the things that are around. So in your pursuit of greatness, I think we're best served in just, trying to stay on our own path, but definitely appreciate the greatness that is around us, the things that we can watch in entertainment, the people who are around us that are great, like celebrate them, because there is no assumption that there is another next great thing coming in that particular form, in that particular way. There's going to be something else great of that, I'm sure. But to what extent is it going to look like the one you saw before? Probably not, because that's what greatness is. You're going to take it to another level. So let's spend a bit more time if you are going to observe others. Celebrate them, give them their flowers, as they say, and then keep moving forward in the ways that you're going. So it's just been another episode on greatness. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Hope you're liking and subscribing. Have a great day.